right, how you doing, everybody? Once again, it is time for another Gear Rant. And guess what? Epiphone is at it again. Jacking up the prices, changing a few features, giving some value. Now, they haven't hit the price point that they hit with the Firebird 5. That is still $16.99, and I think that's just way too expensive for that particular guitar. They did have the Firebird 1 at $12.99, but that's a one pickup guitar, so it's not as versatile as a Firebird 5. But $16.99 was that price point, and I think they put that out there almost to see what they could get away with, because now they're coming out with new Epiphone inspired by Gibson Custom guitars, and they're having USA pickups, and on a lot of them they have the new Gibson headstock, which was always an issue with Epiphones. The headstock was a little weird. Back in 2020, I believe, they changed the headstock and made it a little more cool. And now if you want to pay the premium, you'll get USA electronics, you get the Switchcraft, three-way switch, you'll get USA electronics, paper and oil caps, and a case with a lot of these. Now, the price point is not as bad as the $16.99, and I honestly think it's pushback from channels like mine that maybe said, you know what, let's ease back on the prices. I mean, look, they're still making money hand over fist on these Epiphones, and the good news is, the one thing that I feared was that they would replace the cheaper models with these new ones, and you would no longer be able to get an affordable Epiphone. But I need to say this because this is important for Epiphone and Gibson, their heads, their CEO, their money guys, their bean counters. They need to realize one thing. There are a lot of budget guitars out there that offer a lot of the features that they still, even on these upgraded Epiphones, they still, do not have. You can get guitars now, through Amazon and some of these new budget builders that have stainless steel frets, that have the rosewood board, that have locking tuners, that have all this stuff for way less than even Epiphone's cheaper guitars. A lot of people talk about West Creek, and I've seen those guitars. They've got an SG look-alike. It's not completely like an SG, but I think they're going for like $219. So look, Epiphone is making bank, regardless of what price point, they're pushing these things at. They're churning these guitars out, and they're making money, okay? So the new Epiphone Les Pauls Custom, inspired by, Gibson Custom Shop, is going for $12.99, okay? The regular old Epiphone Les Pauls Custom, which I think is a great guitar, that goes for $7.99. Sometimes you can find them for $6.99 on sale, but $7.99 is the standard price. Okay, now for $12.99, what you're getting is Gibson headstock. You're getting a case that kind of looks like, the USA case, and you're getting the USA pickups, 490 and R and a 498T. Okay, the same ones you would get on a custom shop Les Pauls Custom, okay? But I'm still not crazy about those pickups, all right? I'm not even sure that I wouldn't prefer the Pro Buckers to those particular pickups. But I digress, okay? And also for that $12.99, you get the Switchcraft switch, and you get, you know, the Pro USA electronics, paper and oil cap, all that. So for $12.99, you know, that's almost tempting. For $12.99, that's tempting. Okay, that, you know, it's high, and it takes it out of the realm of a student guitar. But those Epiphone Les Pauls Customs, they have ebony fretboards. And I like ebony. It's smooth. It feels good on the hand. I like the tone. It's got a sort of a brighter tone to it. But, you know, at $12.99, you know, it's like, I could almost buy that. But I've got a couple Epiphone Les Pauls Customs, and I like them. I've got one that I put my, you know, some slash style pickups in them, and I've got one that I keep bone stock. And you know what? Those are fine. I don't need a Gibson style headstock, and I can do with the electronics whatever I want. So for $7.99, I'm probably going to sit where I'm at on those. Okay. Now they've also at $12.99, they've got a Gibson acoustic. It is the J180 LS, okay? Now, this comes in some interesting colors. They've got some kind of pastel blue, and they got some pink, and it's got like a star on the fretboard and all that, and it's $12.99. Now, from what I can tell, and it comes with Indian Laurel fretboard. Once again, for me, Indian Laurel is a non-starter. Now, I know there's kids out there that think it's some boomer conspiracy or whatever that, oh, you can't tell the difference between Rosewood and Indian Laurel. Look, man, I've been playing for 30 plus years, and I can tell the difference, the feel, the look of it. I just can't stand it. And for these prices that they're charging, there are companies that you can buy a guitar for $200 that has a rosewood fretboard and stainless steel frets. So don't tell me that Epiphone has to do this, because, you know, the sites rules have changed. You know, even Fender that went to Powell Ferro, they have now gone back to rosewood. Why? Because they can, and they know that's what people want, okay? Now, my first nice guitars as a kid were Gibson guitars. Okay, I had a Gibson Les Pauls, and then later for $500 back in, like, I don't know, 1976 or 77, I bought a Les Pauls Custom. Now, man, I wish I still had that guitar now. But now the prices are through the roof. Whether you want an Epiphone or a real Gibson, you know, it's getting to the point where it's better to buy used. I mean, you know, so this Gibson acoustic, this J180 LS, it's Indian Laurel, and from what now they've also got a new 355, okay? Now, I believe that, let me check on that. It's a 1959 ES 355 reissue. Now, it comes in two colors, white and red, okay? And but from what I can tell, it's some kind of like a satin, like, you know, cherry red and a satin classic white. These, once again, have the ebony fretboard. So I'm okay with that. I think at $12.99, I'm not crazy about that satin finish. To me, it looks a little cheap. I'd almost rather have a gloss. But for $12.99, getting the case, and I believe this comes with custom buckers, which are great pickups. Gibson custom buckers sound great, okay? So I think that's a decent guitar and a decent value at $12.99. Do I think the price is a little high? It's a little high, but it's not that bad, okay? It's doable at that price, all right? If you wanted a quality 355 semi-hollow style guitar, and look, let's face it, the Epiphone, what comes in the stock Epiphones as far as the switches and the wiring and the pots and stuff, that's generally the weak point of the instrument. Maybe the pickups, but I think Pro Buckers are pretty good pickups. But you know, the switch and stuff like that is what keeps me from bringing those guitars to gigs. So I think having all of that out of the box, upgraded and kind of ready to go, I think that's decent for the money. Would I take a 355 on the road these days, a real Gibson 355? Probably not. But if I needed one and I wanted that vibe, I think for $12.99, it's a reasonable price, okay? Now, they have another guitar which I think is really cool. It's the new SG Epiphone Custom. It's an Epiphone 1963 SG Custom. Now, from what I can tell, it only comes in white. It only comes in white VOS, okay? I think that's, again, code for some kind of satin or something. It does have 3 custom buckers, and it has a little wiggle stick on it. And it's a cool guitar. It's ebony, okay? But this is coming in at the price of $14.99. And I feel like that's borderline too high for that guitar. Because to me, a 355 feels like more of a substantial guitar. SG was always a more of a budget instrument. Even the customs, they were less money than, you know, say the Gibson, the Les Paul Custom. They were less money than that. It's an SG. So, $14.99, that pretty much shut me out on that. I'm just not going to spend that for an Epiphone. It's too much money. I believe it comes with a case, and it's a cool guitar. It's got the Gibson headstock and yada, 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 the electronics and the switch and all that. But $14.99, nah, I'm out of there. Okay, now the ones that I really have a problem with, they've got the new 1959 Les Paul Standard Reissues VOS. And once again, that's that satiny kind of finish, right? It's some way that they're trying to make you feel like you're getting a nitro finish, but you're really just getting this not really a finish, okay? So it's very thin, but it has a satin feel and it's not very glossy, okay? So at $12.99, those come with the custom buckers and the Gibson headstock and the electronics and the switch and all that. But with Indian Laurel, once again, I am absolutely not supporting that one single bit. And I know people go, oh, you can't tell. I had a kid on Instagram say, oh, you can't tell the difference. I got Rosewood and I got Indian Laurel. I can tell the difference. And no, I don't tell a difference tone-wise. But what I do feel a difference in is the feel of it. And look, when I'm playing guitar, I'm spending a good 40-50% of the time staring at the fretboard, and 90% of the time my hand is on the fretboard and I'm feeling that. And I do not like the feel of Indian Laurel. I don't like the looks of it. It looks and feels cheap. And if you think that's only my opinion, it's not, because I've had lots of people reach out to me, pro guitar players, and say the exact same thing. So, you know what? At $12.99 for that Indian Laurel, I'm out, bro. I'm out. I don't care if it's got custom buckers and Jimmy Page's signature on the back of the headstock. I'm not interested in that. All right. So now they've got a few other guitars that came with this run. All right. They've got an Epiphone 1942 Banner J45. Now the J45 is a classic instrument, and they're selling that for $12.99. Let me see if it comes with a case. Yeah, the J45 comes with a hard shell case. But once again, it's got the Indian Laurel fretboard. So I just don't have any interest in it. It's $12.99. Maybe you think it's good, but you're not getting any there's no electronics really, except it does have the it does have the LR bags system in it. But to me, it's like those. I feel like those systems don't cost as much as pickups because it's a piezo and it's in the bridge. But you know, having two pickups is more substantial electronics. So yeah, I have no interest in these Epiphone acoustics. I'm really not interested in acoustics really much. That's just not my bag. I fell in love with electric guitar, and that's what I like. Okay. Now, in other news, another company, one of the direct competitors to Gibson and Epiphone, PRS, they have made an incredible announcement today and something that I thought they should have done a long time ago. But you know what? It's never too late to change. Right, Epiphone? Right, Gibson? PRS is now including in their S2 line. That's the line below their custom core. That is the line that is more affordable. They are now including their USA pickups and electronics in their S2 line. Now, I think they're going around $2,300. So you're looking at about $1,000 more, but than what Epiphone is offering. But you're getting USA made. You're getting some of the best necks in the business. PRS, they took the time. They make sure it feels good and sounds good. And now that those guitars have the USA electronics and pickups in it, now I would seriously consider owning an S2. I would consider the PRS S2 over anything Gibson has in that price range, okay? You're talking $2,300 around there, $2,399 for the PRS with the USA pickups, everything you need. You know, those usually have really nice tops. You got birds if you're into that. They've got locking tuners. Those are functional instruments that are made for a professional player, okay? You can take a PRS guitar off the rack and almost always be able to take it straight to a session or straight to a gig and play the gig, no problem. Try doing that with a Gibson. You might want to play it first. You might want to try it first. Same goes for Epiphone. It's not always a home run. With PRS, I feel like it's almost always a home run. And if it's not a home run, they'll take care of it. All right. So PRS, I applaud you. This isn't a rant. This is a pat on the back. And I would love the chance to try one of these new S2s on the channel. So if you're listening, Paul Reed Smith, send me a guitar. I'd love to do a demonstration. I'd love to play some funk and maybe some different stuff that you don't normally, your demo guys don't normally do. Although PRS has excellent gear demos. Brian Ewald, I think it is. His playing is great. He always makes it sound good. And he's a very tasteful player, okay? He doesn't worry about the rings on his fingers and having the right choker and wearing cool jeans and the right shirt. He just gets it done. And he shows you how good the guitar can sound. There's a lot of people that demo guitars out there. And I like to listen to the guys that know how to get a good tone. Yes, they can make anything sound good, but I want to know, how good this guitar can sound. If I play really well, if I use proper technique and pick, with dynamics and stuff, I want to hear that instrument is going to respond to a professional touch. So I applaud PRS. Great job with the S2s. Epiphone, it's kind of more of a meh. It's not really a brutal rant like when those Firebirds came out. It's not that brutal. It's not as much of a beating. But to me, it's still a beating to the consumer because, you could spend less money somewhere else and maybe get a better guitar. I don't know. You'd have to be the judge of that. All right. So if you'd enjoyed this Gear Rant, This little update is what happening in the gear world, the guitar world. Please hit like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Now be sure and let me know your feelings in the comments, because whether you're a Gibson guy or an Epiphone guy or PRS guy or a Fender guy, let me know what you think about what they're doing, and I guarantee you they might be reading your comments and listening in. All right, that's been my spiel for today. Thanks so much for watching.